Hi, so today's video is CBD, what to look for, why it matters, and kind of a gist of CBD in general. So first and foremost, I want to talk about why. Why CBD? Why is it all the rave? Why is it an up and coming billion-dollar industry? Why are people posting left and right on social media, not only looking for it, but feeling the results? So I just want to talk about what it is first, okay? So we have this thing in our body called the endocannabinoid system, and it's no different than the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, or the respiratory system. But the purpose of this system is to create balance, to create homeostasis. And balance in our body is very contingent on other parts. So different variables such as your memory, your mental health, your cardiovascular health, your glucose, your blood pressure, etc. But the purpose of it is to create balance. So if it's off, it's going to fix it. Consider this analogy. Let's say you walk to work every day and you hurt your left ankle. And now your right ankle, your right calf, your right hip, all of that is now compensating for that left ankle because you once your weight was evenly distributed, but now that you hurt your left ankle, the right side is compensating. So the purpose of the endocannabinoid system is to create balance, to fix it. So instead of your right side now compensating for your left side, CBD is going to fix your left side. It's going to fix your left ankle so that way you don't compensate on your right side. So it's going to fix what's wrong pretty much. So that's why it's so individualized, and you hear people saying, oh my gosh, my IBS is gone, and then other people saying my ADHD is so much better because it's so individualized to what's wrong with you, to where your body is not balanced. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And now let's get into, what to look for because, again, there are so many different products on the market, and it's hard as a consumer to know what am I spending my money on? Am I actually getting legit stuff or am I throwing money down the drain? It's hard to decipher. I get it. So first and foremost, let's talk about the three common different types. There is full spectrum, broad spectrum, and isolate. Isolate is just what it sounds like. It's isolated cannabinoids. So it's a small minute of cannabinoids from the hemp plant. Broad spectrum, a broad amount of cannabinoids from the hemp plant. And then full spectrum is all the cannabinoids from the hemp plant. However, there is one thing to note about full spectrum. Typically, it has trace amounts of THC. Now, 0.0001, well below the threshold. Not only legal limit, but it's just so minute. However, just know that it is typically in full spectrum, and the reason is in order to extract those cannabinoids without compromising it at all, there is going to be trace amounts. There's no other way to put it, and that's in full spectrum. That's why it kind of depends if you want full spectrum or broad spectrum. It really depends on just how you feel about trace amounts in it or not. It's, like I said, it's nothing that's going to be imperative to your judgment, your driving, anything at all, but just know that there are three differences. Next is oil versus non-oil. Yeah, guys, there's non-oil CBD. Let's first talk about oil. So the challenge with CBD oil is typically it's an oil, whether it's MCT oil, hemp oil, I don't know. There's tons of different types of oil. CBD, oil-based CBD. The problem with that is that it is lipophilic, which means it's oil-based. And oil and water don't mix. Water is important because our bodies are 65 to 75% water. And if they don't mix, then our body is not going to absorb it. So what happens is when we take this oil, our body's actually getting rid of almost 90% of it. I know, that's a crazy statistic, but it is proven clinically. Our body's not absorbing it because it's an oil. And what happens when we take this CBD oil is that our bodies are trying to metabolize it, digest it, discard it. We're creating liver enzymes to discard this oil. Meanwhile, on a molecular level, our body is creating micelles. So they are working in overdrive to try to create this compound to encompass the CBD molecule in order to digest it. And a very, very small amount, like I said, probably 10% at max, is absorbed. So these micelles are encompassing the CBD because CBD is hydrophobic. It doesn't like water. Um, and it is not going to pass that barrier. It's not going to get into our bloodstream if it is not in this micelle. And the purpose of the micelle is to transport molecules that are hydrophobic. So we're not getting many benefits from CBD oil. Unfortunately, there's no other way to put it, which is why you hear so many people saying, I have to take more and more oil and now it doesn't even work, which I'll have a whole other video on. But trust me when I say it doesn't work because it's oil-based. And again, you can watch the other video. If it posts soon, then you're going to watch it soon. If not, then you're going to watch it whenever it is on. Okay? Because it's a very, very biologically sound video. And I'm probably going to lose a lot of people on it because they're like, what the heck are you talking about? But anyway, so that's the oil. Then there's non-oil. Now, this is where we get to water-soluble versus water-dissolvable. Water-soluble is usually just a CBD oil that what they did is they added chemical emulsifiers. So they added chemicals in it so that it breaks down the CBD molecules. And it's kind of like a synthetic micelle. Think of it that way. So it's going to be absorbed a little bit more in your body, but there's a lot of chemicals and synthetic crap in there, and it's just not good for you, and it's still an oil, so it's still taxing on your liver, it's still taxing on your digestive system, and your metabolism is going to be in overdrive trying to digest this because it's still an oil, but it has an increased bioavailability. And if you talk to a pharmacist, a physician, bioavailability is so imperative to how our body is receiving a medication, anything really that we ingest, that we take. We want to have as much bioavailability as possible, which means that our body is absorbing that. So if it is only 10% bioavailability in CBD, then we're only getting 10%. The other 90% is gone. Does that make sense? Next is water dissolvable, which there's only one company that is water dissolvable, and they have a high level biotechnology that it's a proprietary blend of curcumin and CBD in a molecule that is hydrophilic. So it likes water. And what happens is when you ingest this water dissolvable CBD, it's identified as water. It's attracted to water because it's hydrophilic. Our body is going to say, okay, come on in. Yes, awesome. And it's going to be absorbed because guess what? It's hydrophilic. It likes water. It's attracted to water. Our body is identifying it in a good way. We're not trying to digest it. We're not trying to break it down, to discard it as waste. Our body's going to absorb it immediately because of the molecular compatibility. So that's why water dissolvable is so important. And yes, you're going to hear things like, technology, liposomal technology, and chemical emulsifiers, and all of that is chemicals and different technology breaking down the CBD oil. But guess what? It's still oil. So if you ask my opinion, I'm going to say water dissolvable CBD is the way to go because it is clinically proven to be within your body within 5 minutes because our body is identifying it as something that is okay. We're not trying to break it down, discard it. It has a molecular compatibility with our body, so it's getting right into the bloodstream. It's super awesome. It's super complex, but I thought this would be a good video to explain the differences. So oil, you're getting hardly any bioavailability. And this water dissolvable CBD complex is 100% bioavailability. And again, I'll have another video going over more of it, but there is documentation, there is brain scans that show within 5 minutes of ingesting this water dissolvable CBD that is within the brain, that it has crossed the blood-brain barrier, which I talk about in another video is very significant because then it's able to go to those receptors within our brain, and 90% of disorders are from neuroinflammation. So to be able to cross that blood-brain barrier means we're able to target those conditions and get to those receptors within the brain in our endocannabinoid system. So there you have it, guys. Water dissolvable is the way to go. And if you're taking an oil, that's probably why it's not working, or why it stopped working is because it is an oil. And I will be eventually posting in the description the different links to different topics I talk about once I get the rest of the videos up. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, you can email me at oilfreecbdmom@gmail.com. My website's also below. And I hope you guys have a great day. Any questions? Holla. Bye.